Here we go.
Yeah, Greg Adams said he's there. Is that the one you said that tuned in to us?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Greg Adams, he's been doing dollar housing programs forever. That's probably why he definitely.
Got you. Well, we're doing another show in regards to the dollar homes. We just did a show last week where we actually were trying to educate folks on what the program is of the dollar home and the process, showing the website for Baltimore City and all of that stuff. But today we're going to talk about, we have someone that's a native Baltimorean who actually did the dollar home process in the past and actually have some feelings about the program today. Who do we have with us today?
Ertha Harris from Baltimore. What's up, family? Family, what's up? For those of you who I may gave the wrong link to, because I'm not technical swervy. So Marcel has it where he's live streaming me and him, but you guys can look at the other link that I sent you to hear us. Or if you do get on this link, you just be muted and you can still hear us. But, it's just supposed to be a conversation with us too. So sorry about that, but next time.
I'm going to admit him and see what happens.
Yeah, let's let him in. Because you can just hit the mic and just say mute, and I'll let them know that first we're just going to start a conversation. And again, if they have something to add, because some of these people are well educated on this whole process of dollar home. So again, while he's doing that, you got to mute your mic. Mute your mic. While we waiting for a dollar house program, why aren't we just putting together plan of actions to buy homes, to buy businesses? You know why? Because we're already reactionary. So one of the reasons why I'm on here is because 29 years ago in 1994, Kurt Smoke and Daniel Henson created a vacant housing program similar to what you're hearing about now. Take this concept. Here you are in the village and you are just going along, but you got, I don't know, torn down huts and everything's happening to your village. And now somebody comes into your village and decides, hey, I would like to make this village better, tear down all these beat up huts and whatever. But when I build it back up for you or for not for you, it's going to cost you, right? So what happened to the villagers, we know that we weren't prepared to pay anything, because if we could, we would have just redeveloped our own huts ourselves. So they call it regentrification. I call it stupid, because you're stupid if you let somebody come in your village, take over your village, build huts that you can't even live in, you can't even afford, because they felt like you don't have a self-determination method of your own to stay in your own village and make your own village better. So then you're going to have warriors. Yes, you have warriors. That ain't going to happen. We fighting. We're going to fight this process. So what you see now is people that continue to fight for the fact that residents of Baltimore should have the first right or every opportunity possible to stay and live in Baltimore and be homeowners. So it's very difficult because there's so many things around that process that has to happen. And I'm going to go back to first self-determination, right? So if you have somebody that's sitting around and thinking that somebody else is going to build that hut and still is sitting around getting off their butts and building huts ourselves, because we do have many, many people, especially Black people, that know how to renovate a property or a home. So what happened is that they created rules and regulations around such natural opportunities that we ourselves could put in some overhauls and get in these buildings and gut out these buildings and fix them up ourselves. So the only way they could really hinder us is they create rules and regulations that you have to pull permits, you have to do this, you have to be licensed, you have to be all these sort of things to redevelop your own community. I even went to a trade school. Trade school, they had welding, they had bricklayers, they had all sorts of stuff. So how did we ended up in a city with all of these people that had all these trades to redo these houses, not even had the opportunity to do the houses ourselves? So again, like I said, we had warriors. So people complained and they huffed and they puffed and they huffed and they puffed. So during Kurt Smoke's administration and then Henson, they decided that they wanted to come up with a program called the Vacant Housing Program. Now, the way that program worked, they actually pre-qualified you before you went to the auction to bid on whatever particular property that you wanted. Just before that, I already had the mindset that I wanted to be a homeowner. So I went to my actual bank and got pre-qualified for $85,000. I was working for Bank of America. $85,000, I could have bought a house back in 1994. When I went through the program with Kurt Smokes in them and they pre-qualified me, I got a letter saying I was only pre-qualified for $20,000. I like, what the heck? What am I going to get for $20,000? So I complained and I called, and this one young lady, she sat me down and she said, Miss Harris, let me tell you something. First of all, take the $20,000. You know why? Because if you get a property for $20,000 and you no longer further your education and you're a single mother with one kid, you want to be in position that you know that you can still attain your living lifestyle and yet the house will be paid off. Because with that program, guys, the unincentive thing that they was doing, and that's why a lot of people didn't take the program, is that we had to live in the property for 10 years. Yes, 10 years you had to stay in that property, right? And the properties that they had for us were not in the desirable neighborhoods. My house is located on the east side of Baltimore, 1217 North Eden. I'm between Biddle and Preston. At that particular time in 1994, nobody even wanted to live on the east side because it was already labeled as a problem area. A couple of years after, in 1995, that's when the Dawson house got burnt down. If you didn't hear about that, that was the whole family that got burnt down because they were trying to, again, have dealings with drug dealers that they wanted to move from their community. That was 2 doors down from my house, right? Enough incentive for me to just really run, but I couldn't run because right now I'm tied into 10 years. So let's go back to this concept. So now you have a program where they're trying to come up with how do we get citizens of Baltimore an opportunity to become homeowners. So I got into the program. I was looking at that situation. I too did not want to move in that area. I had one daughter. I just came back from University of Maryland College Park, living out there for maybe 5 or 6 years. But I thought to myself, I'm an educated woman. Now, where in the world would I get rid of that type of debt? Because it took them $100,000 even back then to renovate my property. Where would I get an opportunity to get rid of $100,000 worth of debt in 10 years? So I took that opportunity and jumped on it. So it's been, like I told you, 29 years later, and I've been in the community. Now, the problem I still have with the concept, and remember I told you I was only pre-qualified for $20,000 back then, was the problem that a lot of you guys are running into with this whole concept of $1 housing. So where do you get the money to renovate these properties? And when you renovate these properties, no one has that sitting in their bank account or has that as disposable income. So you're going to have to either get a loan, and that loan is going to have terms and conditions, and those terms and conditions are going to be long-term, right? So say if it was 20 years, 15 years, are you in a position to maintain yourself financially to hold on to your property after you do renovate it and do whatever you're going to do for it and do all the things that's around home ownership. Property taxes are very high in Baltimore City. If you own a property, if the roof falls or whatever happens, you totally have to take on that cost yourself. So there's a lot of pros and cons. But one of the things that I do understand that we need to do, and I'm going to continue to do, even though I'm a homeowner, is get involved. Don't care what the program is. Overcome whatever obstacles they need you guys to overcome and start buying these homes. Matter of fact, I even have some programs, like I told you, that I had back in the day. I think the average person who is not a homeowner needs to go into a program to just get pre-qualified to what amount of money that you will be able to obtain, right? Because don't get what you do, it always going to have an economic component. So won't you do this first? Hopefully you get with Marcel and get yourself pre-qualified. You want to see how much money would you be able to borrow from an lending institution so you can start there. Maybe you don't want to be bothered with the dollar housing program and you can outright get qualified for $100,000 and go out and buy a house that may be 140 or 60, but by the time they give you some credits and first-time home buyerships and some other grants toward it, you may even get that property down to $80,000. Because there's a lot of good ways that people have been creative in how they can be homeowners. Another one that we've been talking about that really people are really upset about, we don't even pull our resources together. You know, you can be brothers and sisters coming together to buy a house. You could be cousins and aunts coming to buy a house. You could be friends and friends coming together to buy a house. Don't be so individually crazy that just because you're not capable of buying the house yourself, that you don't pull in other resources. Don't be so crazy if you're the person that can give somebody some resources or help somebody out in your family that's not a homeowner, to give them the resources so they can buy this house. The only 3 ways that we're going to be able to develop wealth in this country is to become homeowners, business owners, and investors. And I am
Ertha.
living proof that says, because I'm a homeowner. Yes, go ahead. Go ahead, Marcel. Can you hear me?
I'm sorry, finish up. But Gregory
I
Adams
just want
actually.
to. I just want to say this because I definitely want everybody to join the conversation. You have to deal with somebody that's not only talking the talk, walking the walk. Again, I am a homeowner. I am a business owner, and I am an investor. And the 2 ways that I told somebody yesterday when I was on Mark Clark's show, the way we be successful is to not be afraid and get the right information. Go ahead, Marcel.
Yep. Now, Gregory Adams asked the question, what's the plan? I think one of the plans is that we need to know the different organizations, such as the NACA program. There's a whole bunch of different programs across Baltimore that help low to income, moderate folks get into homes. I think that more people just need to really take the time when they go and get into these programs, because I was actually a speaker at Go Northwest at what's that? Gwen Falls and Garrison Boulevard up there at the Galway Medical Center, and those folks, we would start the classes would start at 60 people during the day, and by the end of that class, it was probably down to like 20 people. Folks don't stay around to get the information. That's one problem that we have. We don't want to sit down and anything that is something that you need to do is going to be tedious. You don't go to 4-year college and think that it's going to breeze through, and it's going to be a simple task. It's going to be tedious. You got to learn to take your course and then go study 3 hours after you have that long day in class. So I think there's just things that folks have to be aware of, that they also have to do and participate in. Mr. Adams, did you want to say something?
I was getting ready to say, let me make it simple. Greg Adams is where we start with the solution. Again, a lot of things that we're talking about emotion. And that's why I was glad that he's on the call, because you're right. when are we going to be accountable and responsible for what we're looking for? So go ahead, Greg. I'm going to tell them the answer is you, but you go ahead and add your spin to it. Did he unmute
Okay.
himself?
Yeah. That's cool. Good evening, family. Thank you, Ertha, for inviting me. Part of the problem is that we don't trust each other, number one. And so most of the real estate business that's done in the Black community are with white realtors. Having been a realtor for 30 years and helped hundreds of families and changed thousands of lives, one of the key things is we've got to know what to do. It's such an influx and an overwhelming joy of somebody saying, well, I can get a house for $1. And they have no idea truly, how do I get that dollar house? Some people say that all the houses are gone. They're not. It's only 805 at this moment. Okay. Now, with the 805, the first wave is for homeowners. Okay. But you have to be pre-approved. You've got to be able to garner $90,000 worth of renovations for that shell. Hopefully you get a good one. And it's so crucial. And we don't get that. All we hear is $1 because we think we're getting something for nothing. Okay. And then you got something and now you can't even get out of it. So they made it so that you got to be able to show and verify that there's $90,000 worth of repairs, that you're already approved for that. Now, if we think about it and we're strategic about it, that could be awesome because you can get that $1 house, put in 100,000, but you're sitting and it's worth 200,000. So at that point, sure, you made a great investment and really changing the community. They want the tax base back after you get these 805 done. We've got over 14,000 vacant houses. So this is just the beginning. So, but we got to get our people aware of what's it going to take to get it. We've got to get them, number one, pre-approved. Nobody's going to give you anything. You'll never get $1 house. You'll be sitting there talking till the cows come home, if they ever make it.
That's right.
So my number, 410-963-2600, Greg Adams, 30 years here, had a nonprofit called the Stop Renting Institute of Maryland. Also have one now called What's Really at Stake, but that's another story. But if you're interested, we're doing, a friend of mine who has non-traditional funds. Okay, we're doing a seminar, and I'm going to be on Ertha's program on Saturday and reiterate this, that if they want to come and see if they can get it pre-approved. If you can get pre-approved with your regular standard credit, 620, I can even get somebody as low as 580. But it is about credit. It is about stability. However, this guy that I'm partnering with is not your traditional bank and or mortgage company. Okay, so there may be some other ways that you may not have gotten approved through Wells Fargo or JS Mortgage Company, but you could get there. And so Ertha's got me.
Repeat that contact number again, Greg. They're asking for you to repeat your contact information.
It's 410-963-2600. That's 410-963-2600. My email, y'all gonna love it, is stoprenting@yahoo.com. Stoprenting, @yahoo.com. I tell you, it's been a journey. It's been rewarding, but I can tell you it's been more frustrating to see that our people have something that they won't grasp. You know, we're paying $1,200, $1,400, $1,600 a month for a 2-bedroom apartment. And you still got to look outside. You're still not safe. You're not tucked away. Okay. Well, you're talking about that's a $200,000 home that you could drive up and park your car in your garage. Come on, people.
Come on, people.
410 963 2600. Thank you, Ertha, for inviting
Thank
me.
you. Thank you.
We gotta keep this going. We gotta keep this going, but we gotta give them the solution. We gotta give them some solution. Let's just get them pre-approved. If you can't get pre-approved now, I'm gonna tell you, I have a program called the 369-12-12 Plus Success Track. 369-12-12 Plus Success Track. That relates to the amount of months it's going to take you to clean up your credit to get approved. Yes, you're going to have a job. Yes, you're going to have to show income. Yes, you're going to normally need bank statements, pay stubs. I call it Room 222. 2 months of bank statements, 2 pay stubs, and 2 years of W-2s is the traditional way of being pre-qualified. But there are other systems out there if you've got it. If I can be of service, lastly, this is not about me, 410-963-2600. I'll just go back to listening.
Thank you. Thank you. Marcel.
Yep.
This is why you need to show them how to tie into you. I'm so glad, again, like he's doing right now, guys. We can keep these Zoom calls going on to stay connected. I tell people, tight knit is about being connected. You didn't just show up yesterday. I didn't just show up yesterday. Greg didn't show up yesterday. The reason why we don't have solutions and opportunities is that we're not connected to the solution. I love the things that you've been doing. And I think, again, before we get into the conversation, I want my listening audience that have never met you or heard you before to get your information and see where you're coming from.
Hey, well, Marcellus Kendall, this is Hump Day Real Estate with Kendall in the DMV. And that's at Hump Day Real Estate with Kendall in the DMV on YouTube. And you can contact me at 410-365-0713. That's where you get me all day long.
So I'm saying, and you've been doing real estate for how long? Even though you're a young man.
Well, I've been an investor for over 20 years, and I've been a licensed realtor for 13 now.
You see what I'm saying? Well, go ahead.
I think when I met you, I think I was in my 2nd or 3rd year.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And so what I'm telling you is that if people were interested in buying homes, for 13 years, you've been trying to help people buy homes. And this is why I try to tell people we got to get out of our emotional states all the time. Don't care what the program is. Don't care what, like Greg said, the information is. All we got to do is be able to obtain it. Now, the basics is, do you have any money to buy anything? And we know that $1 is not going to make it. And what we need to do is, again, tie into you so we don't get left in the dark. Sometimes my girlfriend, she just typed again, Marcel, for you to repeat your number. Not only repeat your number, the way we stay connected, guys, is that if he's doing a Zoom call on a regular, we just get on the Zoom call and hear about the guests and hear about the people that he's going to continue present to us, so we don't get caught up in the moment. The moment is now the dollar houses, but the moment for 13 years has been home ownership. Greg Adams told you the moment for all of those years has been that, why are you renting? I remember, Marcel, back in the day, they used to have a big old campaign about not renting. You don't even hear that no more because the system doesn't want people to start buying homes because they get caught up in the fact that now we're building wealth. So the more people that they can keep out of the wealth game, and that wealth game is not changing because even God himself is not making no more land. So the more they can keep us out of the wealth opportunity of not purchasing property, businesses, land, investing, the more they can control us. So my pet peeve of today with the conversation about the dollar houses is not about the dollar houses. It's about getting ready so we don't have to get ready. We'll be ready to. Sorry, somebody. You're in position, guys, to buy these houses. You can, and the good thing about technology, you don't have to wait for us to give you information. They have right now 2 seminars coming up. I already registered for them. And if I can find the link, I'll give them to you. But the city has 2 seminars itself coming up to give y'all guys all the information that you need on these dollar housing programs. But with that information, I again am pulling together citizens of Baltimore to demand that we always have some way that we can have an opportunity to be homeowners in our own village. We don't have to just use that dollar program. There should be anybody that want to buy a house should have the opportunity. If you have lived in the Baltimore for 10, 15, or maybe even all your life, to have first dibs on being able to stay here in your own village. So the way you do that, you have to participate. There's an election coming up next month, and I don't even see no signs. I don't see you guys got that on the agenda. Hey, forget about the dollar houses. Hey, anybody that's running for election, how do you guarantee that I'm able to stay in my village and I'm not going to be pushed out because of development, because of lack of jobs, because of lack of income or substance abuse or whatever the reason they tried to regenify Baltimore City? If we organize and we take responsibility to clean up our own communities, the police is not going to stop people from hanging on the corners. We have to help ourselves from the people that's hanging on the corners. The police is not going to stop the addiction, the killing. We have to do it. And the way we do it is that we come back with the right mindset. The right mindset, I want to make sure that I'm clear, that I help y'all be clear. We're in a village. Somebody comes and attacks the village. We don't sit around as villagers and start calling on other people to protect the village. We have a process ourselves that if you come in our village and you try to harm us, kill us, or take something from us, we have a way of defending ourselves. You can come in and make all the laws and all the rulings that you want to. But if those laws and rulings doesn't benefit us, as the people of the village of Baltimore, we're going to retaliate against you. You're not going to just keep creating ways that every time I turn around, we still have boarded up houses, miseducated youth, and we broke. That has nothing to do with them guys. It has everything to do with us, because we have so many people for years who have put out the blueprint on how to become healthy, wealthy, and wise. The blueprint. So why are you mad at a particular person? I'm not mad at Brandon Scott, Sheila Dixon, Bob Wallace, whoever want to be mayor. Everybody should go after their ambition. What I'm mad about, if their ambition affects our living here in Baltimore, then that's on us. We should have an agenda. If our agenda, that whoever sits in that seat need to understand that we are not going to be forced out of our communities because of unaffordable housing, unaffordable ability to buy these houses, bad schools, or whatever the thing that's happening. It's for us to create that agenda. You get mad at individual people. I don't get mad at individual people, because people have a right to want to be somebody. They have a right to stand up and say, hey, I want to represent you, the community, or whatever. I ran for city council. Myself, I ran for city council like 5 or 6 times. I don't know if people knew that. I ran a lot of times because I feel like I'm my own leader, guys. I feel like this. I think that there should be more than one person in a community that want to be the leader. So I wasn't running against anybody. People can say, why are you running against Jack? Or I'm not running against anybody. I'm running because I can. I'm running because I wanted to have an opportunity to see if I can make a difference. I can't sit around and say, oh, wait a minute. Why I don't own a house? Why my child not educated? Why I don't have money? Why? I sit around and say, look, guys, if you want me to go down there and see what the heck they doing, because I don't know what they was doing down there. So I just was going to go down there and see what is that city council person doing that's stopping me from doing what I know that I can do as an individual. Oh, you know what they're doing? They're raising property taxes. Oh, I need to get in that seat. Whoa, you know what they're doing? They're not funding my public schools. Oh, I need to get in that seat. Oh, you know what they're doing? They're allowing us to be criminalized. Now they want to make marijuana legal. Oh yeah, we need to get in there. So those are the type of things that I know that I could have been able to say to myself, let me as an individual person that's concerned, see what I can do. I hate when we see politicians run and they say, this is my platform and this is what I'm going to do when I get in office. And then when they get in office, we as the citizens, we get discouraged because they don't do any of those things. Because the truth of the matter, you don't know what you're going to do until you get there. Now, you know what your capabilities are. So you take your capabilities to wherever you're doing and see what you can do about it. A lot of times it takes common sense. It don't even take the fact that you can read well, write well, do arithmetic well. You know, some of them people sitting down there with college degrees, and you figure like, okay, so you can read, write, and do arithmetic. Then why is the city still in its situation? The city is in its situation because don't care how intelligent that we are, we're stupid because we don't have self-determination to say to ourselves, your individual ambition has nothing to do with my survival. If I was in the wilderness and I'm trying to survive, I have to come up with a way to survive. If I'm sitting around and wait for somebody and the tiger's coming after me, I'm going to be a crazy person because the tiger's going to kill me. So we have to get back to, if we want to own homes in Baltimore City, let's learn some basic steps. Basic step number one, he told you. How much money do you have, or how much money do you have access to? Right? So hopefully if you're a person that got $90,000 or more, good. But if you're a person that doesn't, the way you acquire that is from a lending institution. People don't lend you money unless you have credibility. I wouldn't even lend you money if you didn't show me a way that you have some credibility of paying me back. So what we do, we get you mindset and we get you where you can be credible, right? Because a lot of times I used to be a credit repair person myself, and they used to say, Ms. Ertha, I need my credit repaired. I said, I'm gonna repair your mind, because why would you borrow money and not pay somebody back? Don't nobody want you to go and file bankruptcy and do all of this sort of stuff after you promised them that if they gave you the money, that you would pay them back. So what I do is I help you find out the reasons why you didn't pay on time, or you were late payments, or you got into some hardship or whatever. So the next time you make that promise to someone, or the next time you go after that idea of, hey, can you give me $100,000 because I want to buy this house and I promise I'll pay it back to you in 30 years, that you get the best deal possible, right? So that's what we do in this situation, is that we go get access to that money. You make sure that maybe some of you guys need a 30-year mortgage. Some people need a 15-year mortgage. Some people may need a 10-year mortgage. But the point is, you spread it out to make yourself comfortable, because you can always refinance. See, a situation doesn't always have to be a long-term situation. It could be a short-term situation. If I was you, I'd be smart enough that I would maximize my payment as far as I can get it. If it's 30 years is the max, I'm taking a 30-year mortgage myself. You know why? Because I want to make sure I get myself on my feet first, and then I'll refinance. I did the same thing, and I just got the city house. I took a 30-year mortgage. I might have been paying $200 and something a month. I know that's unheard of these days. But then after maybe 5 years, I refinanced that, even $20,000 down into like a 10-year mortgage. You see what I'm saying? But by that time, I was able to get on my feet. So the more you tighten up and get with the proper resources, again, I forgot to give my information, Ertha Harris, phone number 443-655-7198, 443-655-7198. And I also made it easy to access me. I actually went in business for myself last year. I have a Jamaican restaurant in the front and 2 event halls in the back. The venue is called the House of Chiefs, like Indian Chiefs. Is located at 4603 York Road. 4603 York Road. One of the reasons why I did that, I'm still trying to deal with the mindsets of my people. Guys, we eat and we entertain. I'm 64 years old, and for the 64 years that I've been on this earth, we've always talked about Black power, supporting Black people, Black. How in 2024 we still having that conversation? Because I'm very disappointed, Marcel, that even with this venue that I have, I'm not really getting the support that I thought I would get. I thought people would be like, wow, we got a space. Let's go utilize this space. We're going to come up here and eat some food. We're going to have some seminars. We're going to have karaoke. We're going to have game night. We're going to have all these sort of things. And I have heard some criticism that people say, well, why would you think everybody should come up here and support you? Why wouldn't I think everybody should come up here and support me? That is crazy for me to say that I wouldn't, but go ahead.
Let me ask you this. So when you talk about mindset, I think the biggest question to ask is this. Okay, so even when you're talking about trying to get people to come back into that village and take over that village, I guess the question that people will ask you is that, and this even goes to maybe your event space, because I don't think it's 100% of maybe people not trying to support you more than it to support you in general. But how do we solve the problem of actually being safe and secure, even when we're looking at some of these homes that you're talking about, they're coming back into the neighborhoods and trying to build those things up. With that, folks have kids and everything else. And I heard what you said in regards to we as the village has to come together, but when the village is already running, but then we're trying to stand strong here. What do you see as the positive look on how to bring the village and bring them back strong? Because even at your place, I think that folks might say, well, but I don't think it's you that they don't want to support. Maybe it might just be the location. So how do you solve that?
I solve it by saying bull crap. Do you know that when you turn on TV and somebody said they had a mass shooting, not in a ghetto, but in a community that's supposed to be safe and school with a bunch of white people, when you turn on the news and they say, whoa, they rode a plane into the towers in New York City. When you turn on the TV and they say, whoa, a boat just collapsed the bridge. Okay? So nobody doesn't say, oh, you know what, we're not going to support that. They're going to build the bridge up like that. They're going to really bring the bridge up like that because they want you to think that you're not in danger and that your bridge fell. So they're not going to come and build your bridge up because as long as you have that mentality to say, wait a minute, it ain't safe or it's not just you or this, that, and the other. It's the mindset that they want you to have because let me tell you something. I just told you. Every Black person I know, they eat and they entertain themselves. You name how many Black establishments in Baltimore that's thriving, that's making millions of dollars, because Black folks eat and they entertain. When you go down to Canton and you see all these Black people sitting up there eating lobster, drinking drinks, ain't safe down there because they just had a shooting down in Canton, but they still coming down there. You show me how many people go down there when they have art skate and spend all of this money off of Artscape, but don't go to the AFRAM. It's the mindset. We don't even have a race first philosophy. We have a brother in town, in Hotep, and his wife has a independent school called the Watotos. And we don't even go support that independent African school, but yet we're complaining about our public schools because they don't want you to think that, why are you complaining? Here you have people building private institutions that you can create your own curriculum. You can put whatever mindset you want into your young person's head, but you rather send them to public schools and then you want to holler and scream about how they're not giving our children the right things. And our kids are literally standing on the corner and they call these kids Sweetie kids because they don't know their names and they're not going to give the kids names. And the mayor created a Sweetie Kid initiative. He did not say, I'm going to create a King initiative. I'm not going to create a Gen initiative. He still want us to call them Sweetie kids, but they saying they're going to put these kids in a program because they're going to help them be better, whatever. No, Marcel, we're making excuses. And I am just a vessel to say, I'll show you that people know who the heck I am. I am not going to walk around this town and say that they don't know who I am. But before I got this building last year, I was saying to you that too many Black businesses were closing down in Baltimore. How was they closing down and we just kept a campaign of saying we was going to support Black businesses? You're not in the rich people neighborhood. You're in your neighborhood. So why are you eating at the Chinese store? Don't tell me if the same Black person is in the same neighborhood, but you're going to the Chinese man. That don't make sense to me. Okay, but I'm saying to you that the Black people are in my Black neighborhood at 4603 York Road. So again, don't care how unsafe they think I am, they should be eating in my place, not down the street at Ching Chong Chong. And not only that, when I ride up York Road, you know what's open the most? Because we didn't keep our eye on that. Now that they done made marijuana legal, all you see that's opening up in Baltimore is smokehouses. And guess what? When you walk in them smokehouses, they ain't Black owned either. Most of them Indian owned because they selling all that paraphernalia. It is the mindset that we have, that we don't have a village mindset. How do you have a village? And when you walk into the village, the women are raped, the children are slaves and whatever. And you say to yourself, what type of men did they have in this village that they was conquered like this? You don't say, oh, the village was conquered because it had too much crime and it didn't have this, it didn't have that. The village was conquered because the villagers were not strong enough to kill their enemies. And we want to make all of these excuses. We're in 2024. We got more educated people than ever. So how do we be so educated and be so far behind? Because we're miseducated fools and we'll make excuses. And I don't care. It does not have to be me. I tell people that when I'm on social media, it doesn't have to be my place. You guys don't have to say, oh, we're going to all go to Ertha's place. I don't know. Go to Tar Cafe. We all can go down there. Go to the Land of Kush. We can all go down there. You know, we can all go to the Farmer House and party. We can all go to the club tenant party. But the fact is, the majority of businesses in Baltimore City that's Black are struggling because Black people do not have the mindset that truly look themselves in the face and say it is no reason that anybody doing anything should be wealthy. We still have that jealousy mindset that, okay, well, I don't know if we all came to Marcel and we got you and you our realtor, whatever, then the next realtor say, what about me? What about you? Then you should be in a position where you help other realtors, because like you said, you're in the right mindset to pass customers on to somebody else because you're so overwhelmed with everybody coming to you that we're spread it out to all of our other successful realtors, lenders, whatever the process that we have to be in to get our people where they are. I have lenders that call me every day that's struggling. They be like, people don't come to them when they're looking for houses. You see still white people walking around with Black people because the houses in Baltimore are $200,000, $300,000. You see more Black people walking around with white realtors helping them buy homes in Baltimore City. Why? Because we don't have the right mindset. There is something wrong with us when we keep making excuses about why we are not successful when other races of people do not make excuses. They don't care how terrible your neighborhood is. When you go back there next week, it's going to look like $1 million. If you don't believe me, go down John Hopkins area where they made everybody be afraid and all of us, we plotted and left Baltimore. We out in the counties and Columbia and Randallstown or whatever. Go to John Hopkins right now and see what they look like. Don't be fooled. Don't be fooled. Raise our level of consciousness, redirect our money, and then start solving our problem.
Ertha, where can they come and visit you again? And when is the next tight-knit movement event?
Okay, guys. So again, come visit me at 4603 York Road. It's the cross street is York Road and Cold Spring. The name of the building is called the House of Chiefs, like Indian chiefs, 4603 York Road. We have a Jamaican restaurant. You can even go online and order through Uber Eats, Grubhub. The Jamaican restaurant name is Cool with a C, COOL, running Jamaican and American cuisine. So it's Cool running Jamaican American cuisine. Support him, support him. And guess what, myself, for those of you who are not in Baltimore, buy dinner from somebody. Hit me up, Ertha Harris at 443-655-7198. I'll take that money and I will give that dinner to some senior who would love some Jamaican food. Then when you do that, because I believe when you help me, I will help you. I have a venue. You have a birthday party, you have any type of event, I'll give you a discount off of my venue. The average venue runs from $600 to $1,200. You support me, I will give you 50% off of my venue. I have an affiliate program for those of you who don't know. Marcel, I think you belonged to it years ago, where you can just put $100 a month to join the tight-knit organization. With that, you get marketing. We have a radio show. We come on every Saturday over at WOLB 1010. That's the station that Kathy Hughes built, Radio 1, but we come on the AM side. Every Saturday, 1 to 2. You can listen to us on the web at www.wolbbaltimore.com. And you can call in and join the conversation because as you see, I can talk this whole program. So you can call in at 410-481-1010, 410-481-1010. So again, guys, I need your support. These doors, just like anybody, cannot stay open. I still say if you cannot make it to the facility, 4603 York Road, please make a donation. This is your girl, Ertha Harris, 443-655-7198. And also you can catch me on social media because as Marshall know, I'm out there partying, girl. I'm a 64-year-old, but I believe in having fun. So you can catch me on Instagram as Ertha Harris Presents. Ertha is going to be spelled E-R-T-H-A. Yes, I was named after the Eartha Kitt, but my mother spelled my name wrong. So it's E-R-T-H-A Harris Presents on our Instagram. And then it's just Ertha Harris on Facebook.
Miss Ertha, as always, a wealth of knowledge, inspiration should be to most, especially to our Black folks, that to know a person that is truly inspired to be an inspiration to her people and want better for her people. Folks, you need to check her out over there. And all her information is also in the description of this YouTube video as well. So if you need to reach her, you can do so that way, and then you can replay hopefully the folks replay the video, they can get the information. Again, thank you again, Miss Ertha. Thank you for all the folks that actually came on. This is another Hump Day Real Estate with Kendall and the DMV, and we're signing off. We'll see you next week. Thanks again.
Thank you, Marcel. Thank you. Peace, family. See you at 4603 York Road. Peace out.